Hello, mi gente. Welcome back to Kiss My Crafts. My name's Maritza. If this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. I hope you stay a while. If you like it, hit the like button, subscribe if you want to see more, and hit the notification bell if you want to be notified of anything that I put up. And to those that are returning, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. So I'm going to do a little whip and chat for Melodies of May. So whatever you're working on, grab it. Work with me while you listen to me ramble. But I don't know what, because I really don't have anything planned. So I'm just going to go with the flow. So anything can happen. And just in case, and I'll probably give you a little warning in the beginning, just in case, because I don't know. Get the kitties out of the room. Because if I put something in the beginning, pay attention to that. Yeah, get the kitties out of the room. We don't know what I'm going to say. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Excuse me. I originally had a glass of wine. It's you'll be seeing this on Thursday, but I'm recording this on Sunday afternoon. So I poured myself some wine that I opened up on Friday. Now, I'm not a wine person, but this particular wine is pretty nice. It's not too sweet, it's not too dry. It doesn't give me a headache the next day. And I like it. So I pulled that bottle out because I didn't, I only had a little bit, didn't finish it. I pulled that bottle out. And I don't know if it's me, but it seems that maybe once you open a bottle of wine, you might as well finish it, because a couple of days later, it just doesn't taste the same. Because it just didn't taste the same, or maybe I really wasn't that much in the mood for it. So I switched to coffee. So I'm working on Melody by Diamond Art Club. The artwork is by mykajelina. In case you've never seen her before. This is what she looks like. And she's round with 31 colors, and she comes with 2 ABs. And of course, I blinged her up. This is for Melodies of May, which is being hosted by Mindy from Mindy's Diamond Moments, Carra from the Principal Painter, and myself. And it goes through May 31st, and we will be giving away 3. Oh, that really came out good. We'll be giving away 3 prizes, and all you have to do in order to be part of the giveaway is comment on one of the Melodies of May whipping chats. Okay, so for each video that you comment is another chance, another entry for the giveaway. So there'll be 3 giveaways. I'm not speaking for the other 2. I'm not sure, but with all this shipping issues and with the COVID-19, I am going to have to strictly keep it to US residents only, and possibly Canada. But I have to research the Canada. By the end, we'll know. I mean, maybe I'll do something. If it's somebody from Canada, I'll do some type of gift card or something like that. Maybe I can do that. But as far as shipping, US 18 and over, and be subscribed. yeah, so we are each doing Melody, and there are a few people doing Melody. Connie Maldonado already finished hers. It came out beautiful. Kathleen Cross, I believe, is also doing it. Kim Triola. Oh my goodness, who else? There's someone else. There's others, but I can't remember, and I do apologize. I have to go back and look. I might be wrong. And then if whatever you're doing in May, we'd like to see a picture of it on Instagram. Just use the hashtag Melodies of May. Hashtag, yeah. Yeah, tag us in your projects for May, no matter what it is. So I hope everybody's doing well. That noise you hear, that's the sticky wax. I'm using that on my I'm using my 70s groovy pen made by Crafting with Crashly. Ashley from Crafting with Crashly. I'll link her Etsy down below, and I'll also link her Instagram, so you can send her a message if you're interested in her making a pen similar to this. Okay, you can talk to her about it. I love it. It's very lightweight. It's comfortable to hold, and it's cute. Why else wouldn't I like it? Look how cute that is. Different and cute. And the process that she goes through to make one of these pens, it's amazing. I'll link that video. I linked it in another video. This is not focusing, is it? I'll link that video down below so you could watch the process. And she fast forwarded it, and it was still over an hour. They take a long process. All this is handmade, hand rolled, and she does whatever it is she does, bakes it, whatever. I'm not sure. You know, it's a whole process. I mean, I was amazed. I was amazed. Okay, so yeah, I'll link that down below. I just put fresh sticky wax and fresh pink wax on this side. I don't know if you saw that on this side. So I'm getting the excess you get in the beginning, and it's getting annoying, but it'll be gone in a few more stabbings. So hope everybody's okay and doing well. We're still going through this COVID-19 situation. I don't think I'm going back to work till mid to late June. I mean, I might be wrong, but it doesn't sound like it. We're already mid-May, and they're now talking. You know, they're trying to get a plan in place. You can't just go say, okay, everybody go back. They have to have a plan in place, procedures in place, safety procedures. Discuss what are they going to do as far as clients. Staff does not want to deal with clients during this situation, especially if there's still cases appearing. I mean, there's going to be a rise for sure once everything starts opening up. I believe that there will be. So, you know, it's a lot that they have to do. How are they going to handle? Because I don't really have anything to do with that type of planning. The desk situation, everybody's less than 6 feet from each other, you know, in clusters of 4 in my unit anyway. Other units are even closer because the cubicles were made smaller. They just did a whole section of desk cubicles that were smaller than what was originally there to make room for more staff. I don't know what they're going to do about that. I'm sure they're going to have to dismantle all that and redesign So it's a lot that they have to put in place before they allow staff to come back. So I don't expect to be back to work till mid to late June, if if the numbers keep going down like they are. That's as early as I expect to be back. I hope everybody's coping well. For those that pray, please say a prayer for one of my friends who's not feeling well. Connie R. If you pray or whatever, send her some good energy, some positive prayers. She can use them now. Okay, so I really didn't have much plan to talk about, so I'm just gonna ramble. I was gonna talk stuff about my childhood. However, I don't think anything really hilarious ever happened. I'd rather tell funny stories and tell, I mean, we had a pretty, wasn't the worst childhood, but it wasn't the most normal childhood. Let me put it that way. So to not put my business out there, I don't know. I can't choose one. I can't choose a story if I don't put the business out there. There's no story like that. I remember my favorite place to live. My parents were the superintendents of I think it was like 24 family or maybe 20 family building. So there were, it was pretty big building, but not a high rise, so to speak. And so we had a lot of different places to play in. We had, of course, the apartment was it was a basement apartment, but so you entered and you passed through part of the basement, and then you entered through another door that led to the apartment. And then the basement had other rooms and corridors and the fuse room where the fuse boxes were for the building. I remember there was a garbage chute that led to the basement that people would drop their garbage down through there. I don't remember if it was being used, but I remember there was a series of buttons that were bells, and you rang someone's bell and they threw down their garbage. But I don't remember my dad using that. I think that just was something that was used prior, because I don't remember him ever using it. But I do remember ringing the bells and looking up into the chute. Luckily, nobody threw their garbage down there. That would have been my head. So we had places to play, whether it was good weather or bad, because the basement was one of our playgrounds. I used to be a little scared of it, except the area right in front of the apartment. I remember on rainy days, if Mom washed clothes, she would hang them. She had a line set up in the basement. And there was a boiler room where the heat source was. I used to have bad dreams about that boiler room. It was weird, and it was a recurring dream because I had it more than once. That my mom was doing something in the boiler room. And I remember her opening the door to the boiler, and I see flames and sparks inside, and a kid sitting inside. Just sitting inside amongst all the flames and sparks and all that stuff. And that was the gist of the dream. I don't remember my reaction to seeing the boy. I don't remember none of that, but it was a recurring dream. It was weird. Nobody that I can recall or heard of, passed away there or anything like that. Not that I ever heard. But that was the dream. And the boy looked like he can play the kid from the Jungle Book. Looked like that. I remember that as clear as day. And him just sitting. It was like there was a bench inside the boiler. And I don't even know. Yeah, well, the boilers look like how my dream was, but this was a big boiler. So a person could probably fit in there sitting down. However, to get in, the opening, it wasn't as big as, that would fit a person to climb inside of a boiler. So the dream was weird, but it was very, very, it felt very, very real. And so we had that area, the space outside of the apartment to play in on days where the weather wasn't good. And then immediately outside of the basement, the entrance to, I guess you would call it a courtyard. We had that area to play in. And then you go up these steps, and the area surrounding the building was gated off. And Mom used to plant flowers in sections of that area because it would wrap around the building to the front. Because our entrance to our apartment was on the side, on a street. It was called 3rd Street. And then the main entrance of the building was on the avenue. I'm making hand motions like if y'all are watching, seeing my hands. As if I'm really actually talking to someone. It's weird. I feel like I'm talking to y'all. Like you're watching already. That's why I get nervous and I lose my train of thought. So we had that gated area to play in. And of course, as we got a little older, we were allowed to play outside of those areas on the block. So we had multiple places to play in. And out on the top of the stairs that led to the apartment, the entrance to our apartment, there was a tree. It was some type of berry tree, and we were able to eat them. But I think we didn't eat them when they were ready, because I always remember them being sour. And I don't know what kind of berries they were. Luckily, somebody found out they were edible, because we ate them for years. I don't know how they knew they were edible, but my brothers ate them. They ain't dropped dead. Oh my goodness. So we had playmates in that building and a lot of good memories, playtime. My parents used to have nice parties. I remember they had a party for my sister that was big, and I remember a party for me, for my birthday. I think it was more of a birthday / Christmas party, because I remember a lot of people there. I might have been turning 4, maybe 5 years old. I'm not really sure. And I had a cake from this bakery that was very, very popular amongst the Puerto Ricans. I don't know about anybody else, but it was very popular amongst the Puerto Ricans. And it was called Valencia Bakery. And my mom would get the yellow cake with the pineapple filling. And I love that cake. Everybody loved that cake. So the cakes would have a theme. And the one I remember, and it might have been the only one that I had as far as a big birthday party, because we didn't always have birthday parties. We had cake, but we didn't always have a party. It had a not a circus. It had a carousel on it. And I guess because the only ride I would get on in Coney Island was the carousel. I wouldn't get on anything else at that age. As I got older, forget about it. I was an animal on those rides. Especially the cyclone. Anyway, so yeah, there was a carousel with the different animals circling the cake, and it was the pineapple filling, and that cake was so good. Refrigerated the next day, that pineapple filling would get nice and cold, and the cake, oh my god, it was so good. There's still a Valencia open somewhere in the Bronx, but I don't know if it's the same people, if they have the same recipe. I don't know if it's the same, but that Valencia bakery was so popular. We had Valencia every year. Somebody had a Valencia cake every year. I don't remember. I was 4 or 5. I'm gonna say I was 4. And then there was a one for my sister there was a Valencia cake, and I don't know if it was her birthday or her graduation. I'm kind of pushing to say it was her sweet 16, but I would have been going on 3. I don't know if I could remember that far back. And I don't know if I'm remembering because there are pictures somewhere. I wish I could find them or had the patience to find them. My parents weren't the best at storing pictures, so we have a lot of small duffel bags with albums and envelopes full of pictures. It's just not really organized. And it's a shame. I kind of got that bad habit as well. I do have a couple other boxes that my pictures are in, and they're nice and protected, but they're not in any kind of real order. I pulled them out of those old sticky photo albums, because those sticky photo albums just ruin your pictures. So I pulled all of them out, and some just never got into an album. So yeah, that was one of my favorite places to live. Now, I remember sleeping on a bed. We moved there when I was 3. So I remember sleeping on a small bed in my parents' room, and my mom used to tuck me in. I remember that. But eventually I had the youngest aunt on my mom's side, my mom's youngest sister. She came to live with us, and she was a teenager. So, she was a teenager. She might have been 18, 19. So the extra bedroom that was at the end of the apartment on the other side from my mom, we shared. So at night, to me, the property was spooky, because the staircase kind of reminded me of the Munsters staircase. The staircase that was outside of the building that led to the basement from the ground level. Okay, from the street level. Let's put it that way. So that was it was a cement staircase. They were in, I guess, a little bit of a bad shape. They were not uniform with each other, or some steps were a little higher than the others. They just were always creepy to me at night, because there was like one sole light that would shine on the staircase, and that's the only light you would see in the basement, in that area down in the courtyard. So they were creepy. So the window that in that bedroom was right next to the entrance to the building, which led you into the basement. And from there you can get to the door that led to our apartment. That was creepy. So I used to get creeped out a little bit. And we didn't have like window guards or anything like that back then. Anybody could have peeked in, climbed in. Because in the summer back then, we didn't have air conditioning. We didn't even have fans. I don't remember having fans in that apartment at all, ever. We dealt with the heat as best we could. So the windows would be open. And I remember one of the tenants in the building. I don't know if he was just a pervert, had a crush on my aunt, but whatever it was, he was caught peeking into the window. And then I got creeped out from that ever since. Yeah, I used to get creeped out easily as a kid. I remember in the next apartment, and I don't know why, but my room was always far away from my mom's room for some reason. So we moved to another neighborhood, and I remember being had to be first grade. So what are you, 6 going on 7? And it was a really nice apartment. My father invested in a business. That was the luncheonette I had mentioned in another video. And he also rented the apartment that was on the same block. Now, this block was right in front of an outside train station. So my brother's and my mother's room faced the front. They got the noise from the trains coming in and out every, so often. My room was to the back. So I didn't hear that noise. My room had no window. That room was dark when you closed the door. I mean, really, really dark. And I don't know if they had night lights back then, but I sure didn't have one. I mean, I had my own room and my brothers had to share, which I guess that was a plus. But I remember not sleeping well at night. My mom used to hang. I had 2 closets in my room. Let me backtrack a little bit. In that bedroom, there were 2 closets. One big one, one small one. And the small one, if you walked in through the door and the door is open, you would not see that there's one there unless you closed the bedroom door. Then you'd see it. It was behind there. And there was a hook. And my mom used to hang shirts or maybe my clothes there. Maybe she was letting it dry a little bit more. I don't know, because I remember we had a washer and dryer inside that apartment. I thought we were fancy. We were like moving on up. Yeah, because it was a really nice apartment. And back then, wood paneling was a big deal. We had wood paneling and a really nice kitchen. It was just a really, really, and it was carpeted. Yeah, we had a really nice bathroom. It was, I don't know, I guess maybe because my father was doing better and he had the business. He invested in the business, but he invested it from very, very bad people. That's a story all in its own. That's a freaking book, okay? I told you my father was something else since the day he was born. Anyway, so I used to kind of see the shadow of this clothes hanging, and I knew there was clothes there when the light was on, but when the light turned off, to me it was a man standing there. It was always somebody standing there, and I wouldn't sleep. I would stare, and I didn't tell anybody of this. I don't know why. I didn't tell my mom or my brothers that this was happening. Maybe if I would have told my mom, she would have not put clothes there at night. But I didn't tell anybody. I had been used to sleeping with my aunt. My aunt got married, so now I'm by myself in this room, this dark room with no window. I think it would be better that there was no window, because the apartment did have trees on the outside, and those trees caused shadows at night that were a little creepy too. So I would not want to leave my bed at night, not even to use the bathroom. So many a night I was holding in you know, hold them in my pee until it got light outside. I wouldn't move. And if I had an issue like an earache or anything like that, I'd wait till morning. I'd suffer and wait till morning to tell my mom, because I didn't want to get up and go to her room, because to get up and go to her room, I had to pass the door with the person standing there. And then I had to pass the door that led to the hallway to go outside. And I always thought there was somebody there too. I didn't want to pass through the door in case there were burglars. You know, my brothers watched a lot of cop shows. Oh, that sucker just kind of flew right off of the tip. They used to watch a lot of cop shows and stuff, and, you know, burglars and robberies. And I read at an early age. I was reading the newspaper. I read the news, you know, and I was creeped out and all the time about everything. The worst fear that I had during that time, and I'm talking about 6, 7, 8 years old, was Dracula was coming back, okay? My brothers used to get these monster magazines. They were heavy into the monsters, and Frankenstein, Dracula, the werewolf, all those were real big during that time. And my brothers used to get these monster magazines, and these monster magazines basically told you what movies were coming out, you know, any kind of memorabilia you can buy for these characters that were popular in the movies at that present moment. I read an article that Dracula was coming back in February 1972. Now, mind you, I was really young, but I read that and I thought they were talking about the real Dracula coming back. And I swore he was gonna come into my house and he was gonna make me a vampire. I could not sleep. What I would do to fall asleep, I would force myself to think good thoughts. Good cartoon that I like, something that I like to eat, all good thoughts before I went to bed, and try it as best as I could to get Dracula out of my head. Because normally, as soon as that light went out, Dracula would pop into my head. Dracula was coming, especially that month of February. And then when February passed, I thought maybe they just were wrong. He's late. Dracula was late, but I saw Dracula was coming, and what was saving me and I was happy about is I didn't have a window in my room. So I didn't have to see that shadow. But then again, I was upset because I didn't have no warning, because at least if I could see his shadow, I could run. But I never told anyone about these fears that I was having at night. And I guess that's why I used to torture my son and always constantly ask him, you sleeping okay? Are you having dreams? And he's always like, no, I'm fine, blah, blah, blah. As he got older, when he was little, he answered willingly. But as he got older, he just, they become, just snot-nosed brats. Anyway. But yeah, I used to have all these terrifying thoughts when I was a kid, and I don't know why. I think because it was my brother's fault. My brothers used to try to scare me. They used to don scary masks, and just used to be in the habit of watching TV at night. So they used to approach quietly and then come out of nowhere, blah, to scare the shit out of me, and they would. So they had a lot to do with me being creeped out and all the stuff that I had access to that belonged to them about the monsters, and the movies that we watched were all related, to things that they liked, It wasn't until I got my own TV that I was able to watch the really girly things that I enjoyed, like the Brady Bunch and, the Partridge Family, the Monkees, those shows like that. My brothers weren't into that. They were into the Bonanza and the Gunsmoke and Batman and Superman, all that stuff, So yeah, that little TV, it was a little 13-inch black and white TV, and it had the rabbit ear antenna that was connected to it. So that was fancy for back then. And then eventually the knob wore off, so I had to use a plier to turn it. Remember doing that. And then eventually the antenna got messed up, so you had to put some kind of aluminum foil or something around it and try to get the best angle so you could get the best picture. Yeah, technology has come so far. Who would think? I mean, there were a lot of futuristic movies that predicted a lot of things that might be true now or still far out of reach, you know, like the Jetsons. The Jetsons were real ahead. Anyway, mi gente, I have to do that color over here. I think I rambled enough, and I thank you if you got to this point. Don't forget to leave a comment down below so you can have an entry to our giveaway. And just stay safe, mi gente, please. And don't forget to give send some prayers to my girl Connie R, who's not feeling well. And you all take care, and until my next video. This is going up Thursday. Don't forget to watch Mindy and Carra's videos. I'll link those down below. And until my next video, I always gotta fuck up somehow, right? In my next video, you all take care. Oh, ay Dios mío. Okay, let's try this again. Take 2. Until my next video, you all take care. Besos. Mwah.